Ramsey's been fine, but today, his zoomies usually last like 5 minutes, but today it was a 15-minute. It wasn't slowing down. I was like, for fuck's sake, man.
You're like,
Christ.
can you not, please? We're trying to do a podcast here.
I was like, Daddy's trying to do a food thing. Play ball, please. Why you gotta be like this?
By the way, what are you drinking tonight?
So I am on a very exotic Iron Brew.
Okay, because I was like, I don't drink during the week, but I fancied having this beer for a while, so I'm gonna have a beer. But I was like, "Is that okay?"
Quite right, yeah, go for it.
Right, I'll do a quick cheers with you.
Oh yeah, cheers! Oh, I like
cheers.
That. Cheers! Hello and welcome to Dishing It, the podcast where I catch up with food brands and content creators to delve into their food highlights from all across Scotland. On today's episode, I catch up with Julia Bryce, the head of food and drink at DC Thomson's Media, who has an overseeing eye of all the food happenings here in Scotland. Whether it's what's new in the scene or reviews, she's always one of the first to know about the best in food. And if she doesn't know about it, does it even exist at all? Who knows? During our chat, we talked about plenty of food, and especially food that we were missing from the city, and bagels took a hefty feature. And as I was editing this episode, the universe answered our prayers and opened up a bagel shop right in Aberdeen. So NYC has opened up on Union Street, offering a medley of bagels baked daily by the bread guy, all ready to be married with over 25 hot, cold and sweet fillings. Just what I needed. I was kindly invited down to check out what it had in store, and I went for the bada bing, which had a thinly crisp chicken schnitzel, mozzarella, rocket and basil pesto. Switched it from the red chili pesto because, you know, spice isn't the one for me. And holy moly, these bagels don't mess about. Loaded with fillings, incredible taste, and definitely have me coming back for more. And the bagels, super fresh and a right doorstep. Strike that, tractor tire of a bagel. Beautiful, you have to try it out. So without further ado, I will stop yakking on and I will get into this episode with Julia, and I'll see you at the end. Enjoy. Okay, so she's used to writing all about her food recommendations down for us all to see, but today she gives up the keyboard to tell us all about her must-eat spots via Zoom. Julia Bryce, welcome to Dishing It.
Hello, Colin, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Feeling good.
Feeling good, and you've got your fierce beer in hand.
I do indeed, a little fierce rhubarb number fruity pale ale. What can I say?
Can't go wrong. So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I know you are full of food recommendations, not just for Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire, but you're always out eating everywhere. Maybe not so much over lockdown, to be fair, but in general, you know where to go to eat. And I've followed you for a few years on social media, back to your days of when you had your lifestyle blog, Just Julia. It was Just Julia.
Yeah.
It was just Julia. I was writing down, I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Just Julia. And then obviously you were at Society, and now you're head of food and drink at DCT Media. What sort of role is that like? That must be full on.
Yeah, it's full on, varied. No day is the same. One day I've been on a fishing boat, the next day you're in like a million meetings. So yeah, it's great. It's so much fun.
Keeps you on your toes.
It definitely does.
Yeah, I can imagine. And what for people who don't know DCT Media, what publications are under that umbrella?
So the publications that I work for with the newspaper brands are the Press and Journal and the Evening Express up in Aberdeen and the Highlands and Islands. And then we've got in Tayside and Fife, the Courier and the Evening Telegraph.
Exciting. So anyone listening, most people who listen are from Scotland, so there'll be one nearby you to go pick up from the shops and get all your foodie inspo. Over your time writing, what's been your favourite story to cover?
Honestly, Colin, the absolute favourite, like, I'm totally going to change the tone here, but it's so food and drink is obviously so varied. And for me, the ones that mean the most to me are the ones that are really emotive. So I had a woman called Leslie Smith from Buggles Bakes in Shetland, and she kind of bared all on her alcohol problem and how baking helped her overcome being an alcoholic and her sobriety journey. And it's those kind of stories that mean so much to that person, and they reveal their raw self that I think are the most powerful and are so empowering. And yeah, I mean, obviously, like we get to write about like new places opening, like farmers, everyone and their dog, anyone who's related to food and drink, that's what we write about. But it's those kind of really community, amazing emotional stories that I just think are so special. And for people to be like so open and share their kind of most intimate, darkest moments with us, I think is just a privilege to be able to kind of tell their story. So I'm gonna say, not that it's my favorite, but that's probably one of the most memorable for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. And it must get to that point sometimes when you are writing those emotive stories that you feel like not a duty of care, that's not the word I want to say, but it's like you want to put your all into that article because they've bared all for you. And it must get to that point you're like, oh God, like how, like I want to write in a certain way, but I want to do it justice and I hope it comes off in the right way type thing. It must be hard sometimes.
100%. Of course, like you want the absolute best for not just the story, but for the person that you're writing about. You want them to be proud of the piece that they pick up. Obviously, some of the stuff that we write about isn't positive. There are like negative aspects to food and drink. It's not all food reviews and recipes and, all that kind of fun stuff. There is some really hard stuff, like the Tom Kitchen stuff that broke.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I think, I think you've just got to do the absolute best that you can. And being a food and drink journalist, because we're so passionate about the industry, you properly care. And like any journalist, you want the best for your story and you want the best for that person as well. So yeah.
Definitely. Oh, love it. And Buckles Bakes, was that an interview during COVID, or was that you got to go and meet them in person and try the bakes?
So she lives in Shetland, so unfortunately it was always going to be a Zoom or phone interview. But yeah, it was during COVID. And to be fair, I do try and get out as much as I can to jobs. Obviously there's a big balance there, but yes, any opportunity to get out and try some cake, I am 100% there.
Always there. Me too, 100%. And you've interviewed a few well-kent faces, as we say up here, over your time, but who would be your dream interview guest, if you could pick one?
Oh, is it food related? Like,
it doesn't have to be food related, and it doesn't even have to be a celebrity.
Which
might make it harder.
I guess in my job, I'm really lucky. Like I've interviewed some amazing top chefs who like are just blow my mind. But if I could interview absolutely anybody in the world, I would love to sit and chat with David Attenborough. I am such a big fan of his, have been since I was a child, and I am obsessed with animals and anything to do with animals. So I would just love to sit and have dinner with him and have a chat about amazing things that he's done over fine food.
You wouldn't even have to, I think he'd be that sort of person, you wouldn't even have to ask him questions. He would just have stories galore. He'd just say, right, what do you want to know? And then you just say elephants. And then he'll just tell you all the stories he knows about elephants. It'd be great.
It would be the longest dinner ever.
Oh yeah, I know. Book out the restaurant for the day. That's what I would do.
For the week.
For the week, 100%. Cast your mind back to when you were younger, but where did your love for food all start? Was there a moment that, I mean, everyone does love food to an extent, I suppose, but you've got a real love and passion for it. Where did that all start?
I honestly wish I could tell you that like I baked lasagna with my mum and that I baked pancakes and muffins with my grannies and that I was totally in the kitchen. I honestly wish I could tell you that. The only thing that I can remember as a kid growing up with food is wearing it and having it all over myself, or eating far too much of it, and then again wearing it all over myself. But for me, I think I properly fell in love with how I define food now, as like an early 20s, like late teens, in kind of when I started my blog. Kind of I was working in hospitality, I was working as a waitress, and then was looking at how people were serving and was looking at what it meant to be an independent business. And the more independent business I went to, the more restaurateurs I got knowing, and I just kind of became obsessed with finding out why people would start a business like this and how they come up with different recipes, and like chefs, their palate is just unbelievable. And bartenders, crazy. Like the knowledge that these guys have is just insane. And I think I really became obsessed with it probably early 20s, and since then it is unfortunately just progressed, as has my waistline.
I feel you there. I feel you there. And I actually remember, say in previous roles, we kind of crossed over and knew each other from like networking and stuff. But I remember going to Nick Nairn's pizza bar opening. What was it called again? Was this called Nick Nairn's Pizza?
Yeah, it was like Nick's Pizza or something.
Nick's Pizza, Nick's Pizzeria or something like that.
That was below his cook school, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And I remember being there. I remember being on the bar like with you and the girls from Lost in Food. I remember like me, of course, just eating pizza. This is before I did my food blog or anything. And I remember you just like leaning over and like going to Nick. So what made you think of pizza? And I was just like, this girl's good. She's good with questions.
Like, hi, Nick. I know you're busy, but why pizza?
Nick, I know you need to put that mozzarella on that pizza, but I've got a question. Listen up.
Please answer. And also, where's the Prosecco on tap in here or something?
Yeah.
I feel like that was maybe what was missing. And pizza and Prosecco is like the best combo. So I think we needed a Prosecco tap in there. I think that would have really sold
anyone listening, if you think you're wanting to open a pizza bar, get a Prosecco tap in there and we'll be there with bells on. Definitely. And you mentioned obviously you didn't have like many memories of like making lasagna with your mum or doing stuff for your granny, but what was the staple dinner served on the table at the Bryce household when you were younger?
Oh, that is a very good question. So I love chili, and I love my mum's chili. So she would always make a really mean chili. She also, sticking to the mince, loved the spaghetti bolognese. My little sister Nicole, I say little, she is 6'2", but yeah, so she towers above me. She was obsessed with spaghetti bolognese. My mum would also make carbonara all the time, and I am actually not the biggest fan of carbonara.
Oh, whoa.
I know, I'm so sorry. Like, me plus creamy pasta, I'm a tomato girl, I think. So yeah, I know.
You should try Jamie Oliver in his 5 ingredients book. He's got a really good carbonara recipe, and it's not a creamy one. It's made with egg, and it's not got any cream in it, and it's much better.
Well, you're not meant to put cream in it anyway. So my mum was obviously making the British version rather than the actual authentic Italian. So maybe I should give it I shouldn't say I don't like carbonara. I'll just say I don't like my mum's carbonara.
That's okay. I'm the same. My mum, like you mentioned with mint, that must be a Northeast thing, mints, because my mum, every time I come home, she doesn't do it now because I told her off, but it got to a phase that it was either mince and taties, spaghetti bolognese, mince with pasta, or anything mince. And I was like to mum, I was like, I really like mint sometimes, but I don't like it every time I come home. Like, can we mix it up? And she hasn't done it since, so I think I've maybe scared her.
What do you get now then? So what does she give you? Like,
so it will be a medley. I mean, I've not been in a while because of COVID, really. I've actually not been for a dinner at mum's for a while, but usually it will be, she knows pizza's a way to my heart, so it might just be a pizza. Or she occasionally does a curry. She pushes a boat out with a curry sometimes. So only recently she started making her own like bolognese sauce using tomatoes rather than the jar. Because me and my brother and my sister were all like, you know, you can make it without the jar. It's like much better. Like, we sound like we're horrible kids. We do love our mum, and she loves us, I think. Maybe not, but yeah. So that's mum for you. So you have the all-seeing eye when it comes to the local food scene. What has been your favorite foodie development over the past years, do you think, in the city or the Shire?
Okay, so this is going to sound really bizarre, but how collaborative people have become. So when I first started like food blogging or kind of being in the scene in any shape or form, it was very much like rivalry. So they're doing this and they're doing that, and let's not tell them our secrets, and let's like stay very separate. And now all you see is people partnering together, working together, and I just love it. I think it is so refreshing. And I don't think every city is like that. I do think like some cities, like there's still, or some towns and whatever, are very much like you and them or them and you. But I honestly think Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire, like, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's bars, if it's restaurants, if it's producers, they are all there for each other and they're all helping each other. And I just think that is such a nice development to see within the city. And I don't know about you, but all I can think about also right now is street food. And like, I can't not mention it because literally everyone seems to be going on this like crazy street food adventure, which is great. You know, there's all these like the bike yard, and there's the beach collective, and like all these different places where you can go and get really cool dishes for like a good price and just sit and try a heap of everything. And I think that street
It's
food
great.
thing is definitely going to continue. But I don't know. What do you think? Like, do you think street food is also quite popular?
Yeah, I think so. So I've recently started writing some content for Hidden Scotland, and one of my things was on street food in Aberdeen. I was speaking about how I think that's our thing for getting us put on the map and collaboration and all that stuff. And I think exactly what you said, like collaboration is huge. And on last series, everyone was speaking about collaboration and working with each other and partnering, and it is really nice to see because, as you say, many years ago, it was very much, well, we are doing this. No one else better touch steak. Like steak is our thing. Yeah. And now everyone just wants to work together. And I think it was really big when Brewdog and Fierce did a collab, like when Fierce first started out. And I think that, I don't think they started the trend, but I think that was when everyone kind of saw, all right, the bigwig Brewdog is collaborating with a new brewery. This is amazing. And I think that's maybe got people thinking, right, we can collab with someone who's in the same remit as us and we can grow exposure. And yeah, I love seeing it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about a business as well to open themselves up to that, because it's like, I'm welcome, like, I'm willing to share my secrets with you. Do you want to kind of share your secrets with me? And you can actually make some incredible things out of it. Like the guys at like Big Manny's, like Smoke and Soul, Avo, Roots, like they've all done so well with collabs. Like even like with regards to stuff you said, like some of the brewers and stuff, it's so nice to see. And I think the more of that, and then sprinkling of street food, and just getting back out eating is just going to do the city and the Shire so much help.
Long may it continue. Long may it continue. And what would you say is a eatery in Aberdeen or Aberdeenshire that everyone needs to know about?
Okay, so obviously everybody should already know about the Rothsay Rooms. I'm presuming surely everybody kind of knows about that.
Hopefully.
That would probably be like my one go-to, especially if you're visiting the area. Like if you're a tourist, you have to go there for dinner. Like no matter what, you just have to. It's so good. Actually, go for lunch, go for whatever you want. It's so good, and get 3 courses. Do not scrimp. Like no scrimp in there. Go for it. But my hidden hidden gem. It's maybe not hidden gem. And why I'm obsessed with it is I got the best pastrami bagel I've ever eaten in my life there. Ooh. And bagels for me in the Northeast, they're not a big thing. Like I love them. I'm obsessed with them, and I would happily go and pay God knows how much money for a bagel. Like if we need a bagel shop is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But the tasting room in Inverbervie, that's where I got. Yes. And it is so underrated. It's just like so under the radar. Because
I've been dying to go out and get there because I keep on seeing stuff and I'm like, I need to be down that location at some point. Because every time, and I'm so glad you've said that because it's such a great place.
We're gonna go for a pastrami bagel date. That's it. Like get your girlfriend. We'll get our partners involved and just go and get all the different
do it.
Things.
I like this.
Really good.
That's amazing. Great. And if you could travel back in time, what eatery or food brand that's no longer with us today would you bring back from the Fed?
Obviously, it would have to be Yatai. Obviously.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I cried when that restaurant closed.
I was sad. So sad.
Those pork belly skewers are probably one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. Like they were so good. So good. And to not be able to go to a restaurant and get them anymore just makes me so sad. And the service, like,
the vibe, the setting, it was just great. For anyone listening who didn't go to Yatai, it closed down. Was it the start of this year? Pretty much. It was quite recent, or was it last year?
I think it might have been last year. It could have been.
But it was great. It served up like sushi, Thai-inspired dishes, like just amazing. The inside, it was kind of like bamboo and really kind of, it felt like you were in a local's house is what it felt like. And it was just like really nice.
Sitting in like a Japanese kind of house, wasn't it? Like it was just great. Fabulous. And yeah, everything was great about it. And what I will say is the very last time I was there, I was with Michelle Clark, who used to own Melt. Also, RIP, please bring back from the dead because hello.
Cheese toasties like no one else.
So good. And the brownies were just unbelievable. I mean, she's at Trellis now, which is
which is good.
Newborough. Yeah, I've not been yet. Have you been?
I haven't. I taste with my eyes. Like everything else, I'm like, that'll be good. And knowing the brownies that she used to do, come on, like she can't do anything wrong. The sticky toffee pudding that the Melt restaurant used to do, that sauce, I could have had a bath in it. It was
her stuff
brilliant.
Was just unreal. And do you know where else I would love? Sorry, you asked for one place, and I'm probably
It's
naming
great.
like 20.
Keep them coming. Keep coming.
Right. I know maybe a little bit controversial because of what happened and stuff, but the Adelphi kitchen in the courtyard. Like I love Maggie's Grill, but also I loved Adelphi Kitchen. Like what the head chef there, Murray, when he was there, the food was unbelievable. Like such good smoked barbecue food, and that is very much my vibe. And I'm still quite sad about that. And I'm going to mention two other places, Colin.
Great.
So these places, because they're like, so when me and Callum, my boyfriend, first started dating, our very first date was the Stage Door, at the back of like where HMT and that is. And we went there for our first date. And I'm so gutted that that's closed because it was such a nice like pre-theatre place to go.
Yeah.
And another place we went for a date that is no longer with us is Latasca. How good was Latasca? Like the salsa dancing.
It was good. It was great. And they had the sangria and stuff. And then obviously when it closed and then Julia's shaking her shoulders, she's doing her salsas. And then obviously when it closed, then Topla Bamba came in. And I think Topla Bamba's maybe closed now as well. And it's sad because, I think it's awful. Like I like a tapas place. And that's something Aberdeen is missing. And obviously it's good because Cafe Harmony have started doing tapas stuff. Second Home, Studio and Cafe, they started doing tapas. Kirkview do tapas, so
Scottish tapas.
Everyone go there. And speaking of back from the Fed, bagels and stuff.
Oh, I know. Oh, I've got another one. But yes, bagels and stuff, because obviously I was just saying we need a bagel place, and
bagels and stuff was good.
It was so good. Their bagels were really, really good. And for something sweet, do you remember Black Penguin? The ice cream place.
The ice cream place, yes. Was it near Lytton and Mac?
Yeah, it was near Kirkgate. They did this amazing, it was black, and it was black rose gelato, and I swear that is one of the best, if not the best, ice cream gelato that I've ever had. It was so good.
That was somewhere I don't even think, because it wasn't open for that long.
No, it wasn't, and it's really sad because it was really, really good.
And I think I didn't manage to get to it. And is it a bigger brand, or was it a local brand?
No, it's like a small independent. So I don't know if it was just the case of location or what went wrong.
That's even sadder. I hate
that.
So
sad. Yeah, I was proper gutted about that one.
Oh well, lots of ones to take back from the Fed. So again, any entrepreneur who's listening who needs something to do, start up one of those things and you'll get at least 2 customers, and that would be me and Julia. Maybe 4 plus a partner, as we take them everywhere. I think it's time for a little breather. We'll get back to my chat with Julia just after this short commercial break. Today's episode is kindly sponsored by Castleton Farm. I first experienced Castleton Farm back in summer when I dropped in by to rummage in its farm shop and take a seat in its cafe, and since then I've never left. Well, obviously I have, but metaphorically. Located just south of Stonehaven, Castleton is a family-run farm, shop and cafe which grows, picks and processes its very own fruits and vegetables. Well known for growing its signature berries, Castleton creates its very own jams, preserves, chutneys and sauces, which are all up for grabs in its farm shop. That's a true paradise. Shelves stocked high with the best products from all across the northeast and further afield. And it's here that you'll find plenty of pies and ready meals to cook a hearty homemade dinner at home. From your traditional macaroni topped with plenty of cheese to substantial steak pie fit for the family, or the taste of Thai with the likes of the coconut chicken curry, the range will cure any hankering you have, and it's all fueled with the best locally sourced ingredients. You can even take home batches of its frozen scone dough, so you can make the Castleton signature scones straight from home. Heaven. Speaking of scones, you can also get these in the cafe, which offers a perfect spot to take a load off after a true haul off the farm shop, with a counter full of home bakes, incredible tarts, and, as I said, mammoth scones. In addition to the lunch and dinner options, you will not be left hungry here. Paradise for some might be a beach on a faraway sunny island, but mine is most certainly Castleton Farm. Back to the podcast. So, right, let's dive right into your food recommendations. So your bags are packed and you're ready for the biggest foodie tour across Scotland. Where are you going for your starter, your main, and your dessert? And what are you ordering?
You do realize that this is torture, that I've tried to just pick one because I will literally be here all night talking about things. So I've tried
Well, I
to
mean,
keep
you've managed to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on top of the back from the Fed question. So,
right, I will literally
guys,
keep
block out an hour. Block out an hour.
I'll keep it to one. I'll keep it to one of each. So starter. Where am I going for my starter? It has to be Moonfish Cafe. Ideally for scallops, because their scallops are just unbelievable. But I will take any one of their starters. What you'll find with Moonfish is that they'll put a dish, say it's called tomatoes, and you'll think, oh right, okay, it's just going to be tomatoes. But actually, it is a work of art and a masterpiece, and it doesn't even look anything like a tomato, but it tastes like a tomato, and it's just unbelievable. Like what Brian does there is incredible. That he is,
he's
absolutely
talented.
He is, and he's very much flying the flag for like really funky, cool dining, which is just chilled but sophisticated.
I think what's good there as well is that every time you go, it's always different. Like the menu constantly changes, and it's like you, as you say, like you could order something that said tomatoes, but you're just going to get back something that blows your socks off. Like nothing is. I always say to Rachel, like we need to go, because literally, like it is just such a good dining experience. And any time of lunch or dinner, like either, it's still good, either or.
Yeah, absolutely. Like their lunch is really, really good, and like it's actually so affordable for like what you're getting,
definitely.
for the quality of food. Yeah, 100%. So that's where I'd have my starter.
Great choice.
My main, I went between ribs at Maggie's because they're so good, tacos from El Cartel, but the one place that I'm gonna recommend is in Glasgow. So I went to the butcher shop in Glasgow. I don't know if you've ever been, Colin, but it's like a steakhouse. And me and my boyfriend were in Glasgow, and we were out for date night. And Baby and me, of course, have researched like a million places. So they do this thing. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to do this thing. I think it was like maybe a Wednesday or Thursday night because it was like midweek. And it was like Tomahawk Wednesdays or something, right? You got 1.25 kg of meat on this insane bone that like Fred Flintstone would run about with. And you had like chips, sides, I think even a bottle of wine. It was like £70, and it was unbelievable.
Ucha boys.
It was so good, and they do such good cocktails as well. So it was just like the ultimate. So that would be my main, is that massive big tomahawk steak.
Yes. And what would you get any more sides on the side of that?
I mean, when in Rome, you know what I mean? Yeah. You just got to stretch your stomach at these occasions.
Just got to enjoy life. You only live once.
Exactly. So I would order every side that they had probably, but no, my sides definitely for steak have to be onion rings, chips, or some sort of potato-y kind of vibe. And then I do quite like grilled tomatoes or whatever, or mushrooms, or like some sort of veg as well. I think I've basically named everything that you could possibly have.
I love it. And if calories didn't exist in this epic food escapade, if you could take us aside from another restaurant or eatery or wherever you've been, what would you add in?
Okay, right. I actually was thinking about this place today, and I don't even know if it's still open, so apologies. I think it is. I'm presuming it is. 83 Hanover Street as well, that was in Glasgow. So I love Padron peppers. They are so good. Bit of sprinkling of salt on them, like whatever you want to put on them. If you want to put a wee bit of cheese or Parmesan on them, those were unbelievable. So I would eat them all day if I could. Like I love Padron peppers. So the Padron peppers there is where I think I would ask for my second side, or my third, fourth, or fifth side.
What a feast indeed. What a feast. And where are you going for your dessert?
So I have such a sweet tooth, right? But I am like a brownie kind of gal. I'm not really into lemon tarts and stuff like that. And as much as like I order dessert, I actually prefer things like donuts. So I know that sounds really weird. I'd rather like stuff myself to bits and then come home for like a really nice donut or something like that.
Yeah.
So my donut places that you have to go to in Aberdeen, Bomb Donuts for the filled ones, Simply Donuts for like the normal ring ones, because what Kendall does is just phenomenal, like amazing. They're like works of art. And then in Glasgow, for anyone who's listening in Glasgow, obviously Tantrum Donuts, because that's where I first fell in love with these kind of style of donuts. And they will always have my heart. And I message them every now and then asking them to come to Aberdeen all the time.
Like, please. What's your favorite flavour at Tantrum? Have you got one?
So I think it's strawberry and pistachio, which is quite unusual for me, but honestly,
that sounds like a good combo.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm pretty sure it's strawberry and pistachio. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I've not obviously been in ages because of COVID, but yeah, it was spot on.
Oh, amazing. I actually managed to finally, after more than a year, get my hands on Simply Doughnuts. Like,
congratulations!
I know. It was like I gave birth. Honestly, like I'd never felt so happy in my life when I finally got it. I was like, I messaged because I think she put up, it was when they're doing the Forest Farm gelato thing. And I was like, right, I can either go out to Forest Farm like the minute I finish work on the Friday, and like they'll probably be sold out, but I can always try that. And then she put something on her story about, I can't remember what it was about delivery or whatever. And I messaged, be like, I am so hoping I managed to get at Forest Farm. I'm just going to manifest. And then she messaged back being like, oh, well, I've actually got some on the website still. If you want. And I was like, what? What?
Yes!
And then, yeah, I literally nearly threw my phone, and then got the last three. Got the last three in my basket. And I did not even, I mean, the wait was worth it, but actually the torture of having to wait for that long was horrible. But it's so great to see that still now, a year on, still selling out the door. Like, it's amazing. Such an amazing brand.
It's so good, and you're so right. And like her flavor profiles and everything that she has is so good. What flavors did you get?
So I ended up getting the raspberry cream, which was really, it's that glaze. It's that glaze she has in the donuts, or just something else. The raspberry cream, the Nutella, and then savory. I got it was a tomato and shallot on the side. Oh, it was amazing. It was so, I went in blind. I was like, I don't really know what to expect from this, but because her donuts, like the actual dough isn't uber sweet, it's like quite like vanilla-y, or it's got like a slight taste. So this had like a kind of herby taste to it, and then the tomato and the caramelized shallot on top was just beautiful. So I had that, you know how much I love a Brinner, had that on the side of some scrambled eggs and stuff, and oh, what a delight. It was great.
Colin, that sounds absolutely heavenly.
It really was. So if you get savory donuts, if there's any on the website whenever you're ordering again, I would highly recommend.
Oh, nice. I'm thinking like a wee bit of balsamic glaze on the side, just to like maybe dip it in.
Oh, that would have been actually good. Yeah, we dippy dip.
Dippy dip, I love it.
We dippy dip. I'll be going on the website to see if I can get more now. And amongst all that, what is your go-to drink that you'd need to have?
So it's maybe not like I love a margarita. So a margarita would be like my go-to. Pineapple margarita from Orchid is probably like god tier margaritas. So definitely, if they ever share the recipe for that, get that and keep it and store it in a box, because it's the best margarita you're ever going to drink. Jeez. But I will mention as well, so Panda & Sons in Edinburgh, I absolutely adore what they do. I love the theatrics. I love the quality of the drinks, the service, everything there is great. And talking of Orchid, so I don't know if you ever tried it, but many, many moons ago, they did this cocktail called the Cocoa Monkey. Now, I tell everyone about this cocktail.
Ooh, I've not heard of it.
And it is, I can't remember if it was vodka or rum. I can't remember, but it had Cocoa Pops milk in it, and it literally was like a dessert, and it had like squirty cream all the way up it, and it was just unreal. And I remember being on nights out with my friends who were like taking shots, doing all this, and here's me with a Cocoa Monkey, like the Cocoa Monkey, like in my element, and Farmer and that behind the bar, like, you go.
Oh my God. Cocoa Pops milk is like my favorite type of milk. Like, wow. Just going off topic, when you have Cocoa Pops, do you let them go soggy and then eat it? Or do you eat it straight away while it's got the crunch and the chocolate?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the mental sogginess. Like, I like a bit of crunch. Like, I like to leave it so it's like a bit mushy, a bit crunchy. You know, the ones at the top, they've maybe not been mushed.
Yeah, they're a bit crisp. It's like a lasagna top. A lasagna
Yes.
of cereal.
Yes, a lasagna of cereal. Yes, no, exactly that. Like a little bit crispy on top and like a little bit mushy, because then you do get the chocolatey milk. Like obviously you're not going to eat Cocoa Pops and not have the chocolatey milk. Like, what's
Oh
the
no,
point?
that's heathens. Whoever does that, just have Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
no, I get them uber soggy, and what I do is when I when I take the spoon, like I'm trying to take as little chocolate milk as possible, then I eat the cocoa, and I'm left with a bowl of milk, and I'm just like, yes,
And please tell
calcium.
me you like just like pour it into your mouth.
Pour
all
it
of
back,
Yes.
lean back, and just funnel it in. Just get it in. I know. Oh, that sounds great. I wonder if they do still do the Cocoa Monkey, because I need that.
I don't think they do, but I might start a petition to bring it back.
We'll add
so
that to the back from the Fed list. We'll put that in. So was it a take on a White Russian, like that sort of idea?
Kind of. Do you know what, honestly, Colin, I've got no idea. Like I have no idea. It just was amazing, and it came with one of those like red and white like kind of swirly straws, and it was just excellent, like packed with ice as well. So it was a bit of a longer drink, but it was so good, and the cream on top, and like they put Cocoa Pops on top of it as well.
Oh,
so
even better. So you get your little lasagna top, get your Cocoa Pop top. Love it. So I'm a lover of a margarita as well. Like margarita is my go-to all the time. Are you a margarita in a tall glass with lots of ice? Or are you a little, like the little margarita?
Yeah, like a coupe.
Martini, a coupe. There we go. That's someone who's educated.
A
coupe glass.
A coupe glass. Yes, no, I am definitely. Not that I don't like margaritas on the rocks, because I think there's a time and a place for that. I am definitely a margarita short. Like just give it to me good.
Get all the alcohol and all the salt.
And I want to be all fancy with my little glass, like sipping away. Like having worked for a tequila brand, like I became quite obsessed with tequila and quite obsessed with margaritas. So yeah. And do you like tequilas? That like
I love tequila, but only it's got to be white tequila. It can't be the brown stuff. Can't be the brown stuff.
So you don't like reposado or
Oh God, you know your stuff.
Oh, this was my thing for about a year, Colin. I should know all this stuff. Do you like a Paloma?
I'd not even heard of a Paloma. I know Paloma Faith. I like her.
Colin, okay, a Paloma basically has ting, grapefruit.
Yes.
Well, like yeah. So like basically have tequila with ting. It will change your life.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be my ting. So it's called a Paloma. Let me just write this down.
A Paloma.
And it is grapefruit ting. So I remember what that is. And tequila. Okay, amazing.
Yeah, you get like cans of ting like in the shop. So it's like a grapefruit soda basically. But yeah, I mean, you can make a Paloma. I can't remember what else should be in it. Maybe a little bit of lime, probably. That's really bad. But yeah, I would definitely. If you like tequila, I think you'll like.
Love tequila. Paloma. I love nothing better than a Cafe Patron as well, but it's so fucking expensive. It's for that tiny little bottle. It would be gone. I'd just put a straw in it, and it would just be gone in a night. It's not worth it. It's so much.
I just don't like coffee, Colin, so I can't.
Wow, how do you meet your deadlines?
Honestly,
how does that happen?
I have no idea. It's just ridiculous.
Do you not like hot drinks at all?
No, so I like tea, but I don't really drink like green tea. Whoa, that is all those kind of teas.
Acid.
Peppermint tea, I will drink. Tea, builder's tea, breakfast tea, I will drink. I love hot chocolates. I was that person. So when you would go to a meeting and it's like a business meeting, and you're like, would you like a coffee or a tea? And I'm like, do you want hot chocolate? I was that guy for ages, or that woman for ages. And then I kind of matured and was like, Julia, stop. That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, no, I like hot drinks. I can't drink coffee. Just does not agree with me. Like caffeine in general just does not agree with me. Like even like full fat Cokes and stuff like that, or caffeine in medicine and stuff, it just does not agree with me. I'm probably too hyperactive and mental that it's like, whoop, no chance. Like
we can't take any more in this, girl. We can't take any more.
Yeah,
we're closed. How do you take like a proper builder's tea? Like, I mean, like tiny splash of milk, or on the color chart, where are you? Are you like a beige? Are you a mocha? Like, what color are you in the tea?
I would probably say I'm like middle right. So if the middle and then right, or like middle is 5, and then 10 is mental boilers tea. I'd probably be
Yes.
like a 6, 7, depending on how I'm feeling. Like if I'm wanting a little bit of a milkier tea, but like that whole I've got a splash of tea in my milk is like, what?
Yeah, no. Someone I used to work with used to say the way they like their milk, like their tea, was you had to show the tea bag. And I was like, what do you mean show the tea bag? And they're like, you just need to like dip it in, like literally your hot water's in already with the milk, ludicrous. And you just go dip, dip. And I was like, what? So you're having hot milk with watered down hot milk?
What? Who
It
would
didn't
do
even change
this?
color. Didn't even change color.
Why would you even have tea? Madness.
Exactly. Madness. But yeah, no. I always like to know how people take their tea and stuff, because it's just, I was always interested me. It's a good chat in the office, I always think. How you take your tea? Good way to know someone, I'd say.
And that's also a test for the office, though. Do you not think, like, if
Yeah.
someone's like, you need to make the tea or the coffee, like, did you not feel mental pressure? Like, I remember being like an account exec and being like, oh my goodness, I don't drink tea or coffee really. So what is a good tea and what's a good coffee? And the fear of putting someone's coffee or tea in front of them, and you like look at their face for like the recognition of like, this is okay, like, okay, thank God.
So I had that when I did work experience at an event company when I was still studying. I remember it was like my first day, and I knew you had to ask for tea. It was before I drank like coffee, but I did drink tea. And I was like, oh, does anyone want a cup of tea? Like total brown nosing, like trying to get brownie points. And I remember a girl who was in the office said, oh yeah, I'll have a green tea. That boy from Huntly, green tea is not a thing where we're from. So it was like, I was like, a green tea. And she was like, yeah, green tea. And I was like, do you take milk?
Oh no, her face, I can imagine.
And she looked at me, and she kind of, you could tell she was like, oh, bless him, he's an absolute fanny. And she just went, oh yeah, just a bit of milk. But being like, and I think she said something after like, oh yeah, and tea in general, like I'll take a bit of milk. And I was like, oh right, okay. And I was like, that's a bit weird. So then I went to the kitchen, came back with a green tea with milk in it. And I remember putting it down, her looking at it being like, oh Jesus Christ, he's not gonna last in this world. He's gonna get eaten alive.
You poor thing. But for like people need to like, this isn't a taught thing, you know, you don't learn these things at home.
True
I
learning
certainly
experience.
Didn't. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Teach it in schools. Teach it in schools. Teach kids of the future how to make a cup of tea.
Exactly. It could save their career.
Exactly. Speaking of school, when you were at school, were you always keen on writing? Was that something that you were always really good at, or was it just something you kind of fell into after you left school?
Admittedly, Colin, I was a terrible writer at school. I overwrote all the time. So I remember doing essays. And you would have, like, do you remember doing your exams and you'd have to ask for another booklet because you've written so much for a story that you've made up in your head, and this story is about 50 pages long. I'm like, I could have given J.K. Rowling a run for her own money, because I was like, I've written a novel. I probably wrote a dissertation in my time at being at school, having written so much. But yeah, like, honestly, I wasn't really big on writing. I don't really know what was I big on at school. I loved biology and modern studies, and I loved like business management and stuff. So other than that, no, unfortunately, like I wasn't really a big writer, apart from an overwriter, clearly. And then I don't know why I started blogging. I don't know where the bug came from or anything, because no one was really, there wasn't, not that people weren't blogging, because obviously a lot of people were blogging, but in Aberdeen there wasn't really a big
there wasn't many.
Scene.
You were probably the only one I knew at that time, really. And then obviously you knew people from the circle, but yeah, it was only really you I knew of. It was I guess you and Foodie Quine probably the only two that I knew of, but that was about it, really.
Yeah, and then like everybody else is slowly but surely like started blogging Instagram pages, or like I say blogging Instagram, like, you know, Instagram pages around food and drink and stuff. And, you know, some people still have their blogs, like Carrie and stuff like that, who have like their recipe blogs and stuff, which is great. It's absolutely amazing. I wish I was as good a cook as they are, because their food is just unreal. But yeah, it wasn't a massive thing, and then it seemed to be a bigger thing in Aberdeen and just kind of grew. And now I think it's the Instagrammy thing that's bigger up here for the food crew.
Definitely.
From what
Food
I can
crew.
tell.
I like it.
Food crew.
The food crew.
The food crew of half of who I've never met, but know them on Instagram as if they were like my best friends, which was really funny.
I know it's weird. It's like a really nice food community just now. Like everyone like knows of people, but no one like there's folk I walk past in the street and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was X. Like you just know, and like half time you want to stop and say, oh hi, but you're like, I can't bear to think. I go, hi, I'm the food Hoover.
I'm the food Hoover. It's so funny.
Food Hoover.
I met Fat Scrams at the gym.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So I didn't even know what he looked like. It's so funny, like, because obviously his thing is a cartoon. Like I met him at the gym. I was like, hey, like it's so bizarre.
Mental, absolutely mental. Okay, so that takes us to our final question of the day. So it's all music. It's about your feel-good song that needs to be on your playlist. So when you're writing, how does your brain cope with music? Do you need music to get you in the zone, or silence?
Absolute no to music, please. I can't if I'm doing social media, so if I'm doing stuff for Instagram and that kind of thing on our company accounts, then yes, I can, because I like vibing away and kind of getting a bit inspo. But other than that, no, because I'm usually either transcribing stuff that I've already I'm listening to, or I'm writing, and I just can't. Women can multitask, but I cannot do that.
Yeah. It's hard. I think it's got to be like, for me, like I need like silence pretty much, but I have like the radio on like really, really, really light that I don't really hear it. But it's just a bit of background noise. But yeah, I don't understand when people are like, oh yeah, get my headphones in. I just like get a playlist on, I just do it. And I'm like, no, I'd end up like just not doing it. I'd just end up like walking around dancing and thinking now I'm on concert.
Exactly. I would be doing the same, or just vibing and singing away, or start writing what I'm listening to, and I'd have like some weird Adele or something
writing
like
Lady Gaga's memoirs, like,
yeah,
writing her
literally.
next unauthorized biography. Like, I'll write it now. So what is your song that needs to be on that feel good playlist for you?
So in general, like whether it's work, whether it's a night out or whatever, like, or just chilling, Beyonce's, this is so cliche and everyone's gonna like, seriously, come on, but her Run the World, like
Who Run the World?
Yeah, I didn't want to sing because I'm a terrible singer, but yeah,
I mean, I'm no better.
You're way better than I have, trust me. I am obsessed. Like I just think when that song comes on, like, you know, the shoulders were going earlier, like I'm like, yes, like we can take on the world, it's fine. That story's fallen through, it's okay, we've got this, it's fine, we've got something else, it's okay, it will work out. And yeah, like anything Beyonce, to be fair, but her Fun the World is definitely like, come on, yes, we could do
it's your
this.
one. It's your one. I could just imagine it like if there's a crisis in the office, it's like, it's okay, let's just get Run the World on and we'll just take a moment and we'll get back to it after. It'll be fine. Well, that takes us to the end of your Dishing It episode, Julia. That has been rammed with food galore. I mean, again, back from the Fed, OTT, but we love it because we've got a lot of places to whet the appetite for things coming back, hopefully in the future. But thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see each other in a restaurant soon. We're usually sat next to each other somewhere, never 100%. Far away.
No, not at all.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're too kind. See ya.
Bye.
Well, I knew Julia would deliver the goods, but not one, not two, but 7 back from the Fed eateries. That gal really knows her food, even when they're not even here anymore. And if you were late to the table with your pen and paper, fear not. All the businesses mentioned today are linked in the description of this episode. Thanks to Julia for being my guest, and thanks to you at home for listening in. Make sure to subscribe, rate, comment, and share to show this little old podcast some love. And join me next week for more food chats, food safaris, and food. I'm off for a bowl of Cocoa Pops, so stay safe, eat well, and speak soon.